Welcome to literary and jury charge practice. Let's start out with a little warm-up. This is a narrative answer. Ready? Here we go. First of all, I had plans to do a few things with that bank as time went on. After we all became well acquainted with the bank itself and how it was running, I foresaw that it should be run as a consumer-oriented bank. I felt we should offer mainly small installment loans. If we were to offer any business loans through that bank, I felt that they should have very low limits. I was shy from my previous luck with other types of loans. No matter what was said, I did not think that we needed to make any special loans or risky loans to make a bank grow. I said that I wanted to open up another branch or two when we could do it safely. I wanted to open up storefront offices and shopping centers. I did not want to buy any buildings for this bank. I did not want to make any big purchases. I felt that the market was flooded with large banks where the everyday people get lost. I wanted to keep the look and feel of our banks as friendly places where people would feel comfortable and welcome. Now, let's see what else we have for some warm-up. A little more warm-up. Let's try this. This is called a roofer, R-O-O-F-E-R, roofer testifies. Ready? Here we go. We had to scrape off the existing slag roofing rocks from the roof and haul away. Then we would prepare the roof to receive the new roofing. We had to cut away all the old roofing from around all the pipes, vents, and outlets on the roof down to the original metal to ensure a proper bond with the new roofing. We applied 3 layers of 40-pound roofing and nailed the last layer over the old roofing. The succeeding layers were mopped solidly between that with hot asphalt. Then we applied a coat of hot asphalt and a layer of crushed roofing gravel at the rate of approximately 300 pounds per 100 square feet of roof area. Hopefully you're feeling warmed up. And now let's try some jury charge practice. This jury charge, the subject of this jury charge is perjury. Ready? Here we go. The decision herein passes only on the integrity of a criminal trial in the federal courts. It does not determine the guilt or innocence of the petitioners, and we do not reach other issues propounded in the lengthy briefs or which may be present in the trial record of 4,147 pages. The Solicitor General of the United States moved to remand the case to the trial court for further proceedings because of untruthful testimony given before other tribunals by Joseph D. Maloney, a government witness in this case. The counter motion of petitioners asked for a new trial. The decision is based entirely upon the representations of the government in its written motion and on the statements of the Solicitor General during the argument on the motions. The petitioners were charged in a 1-count indictment in the district court with conspiracy to violate the Smith Act. They were convicted, and the Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit, sitting in bank, affirmed by a divided court. This court granted the petition for writ of certiorari, and the case was scheduled for argument on October 10, 1958. On September 27, 1958, the Solicitor General of the United States filed a motion calling the attention of the court to the testimony given in other proceedings by Maloney, who was one of the 7 witnesses for the government in this case. On the argument of the motion, the Solicitor General, in response to questions by the court, stated with commendable candor that he believed the testimony given by Maloney on June 18, 1955 before the Senate committee was untrue. He likewise stated that he believed the testimony given by Maloney on July 2, 1958 in the Circuit Court of Florida was untrue. In addition to the Solicitor General's personal opinion, the text of the motion itself shows that the Department of Justice is certain that some of Maloney's post-trial testimony was contrary to the facts. In the Florida testimony, he said that the FBI sometimes paid him $1,000 a month for expenses, whereas the records of the Bureau showed he was paid a total of $172.05 as expense money. He also testified there that the FBI arranged to put him in the Army to spy on an officer, whereas the FBI had nothing to do with his Army service. He had been instructed in accordance with the Selective Service Act. All these discrepancies are pointed out in the motion as quoted above. As to his bizarre testimony in the Florida proceeding, concerning sabotage, espionage, handling of arms and ammunition, and plots to assassinate senators, congressmen, and a state judge, the government's motion suggests that none of it is worthy of belief, nor is it corroborated by information in the possession of the government. At the oral argument, however, the Solicitor General stated that although he believed all of this testimony to be untrue, he was not prepared to say the witness Maloney was guilty of perjury in giving the testimony, that his untrue statements might have been caused by a psychiatric condition, and that such condition might have arisen subsequent to the time of this trial. The Solicitor General, in the light of this position, asked to have the argument on the main case stricken from the calendar and the case remanded to the district court for a full consideration of the credibility of the testimony. Commendable as the action of the Solicitor General was in promptly bringing the matter to our attention, when it came to the attention of his office, we do not believe the disposition of the case suggested by him should be made. Either this court or the district court should accept the statements of the Solicitor General as indicating the unreliability of this government witness. The question of whether his untruthfulness in these other proceedings constituted perjury or was caused by a psychiatric condition can make no material difference here. Whichever explanation might be found to be correct in this regard, Maloney's credibility has been wholly discredited by the disclosures of the Solicitor General. No other conclusion is possible. The dignity of the United States government will not permit the conviction of any person on tainted testimony. This conviction is tainted, and there can be no other just result than to accord petitioners a new trial. We will stop there and finish this one up later. And now let's go to some literary material. And this is one that we had started, so we'll finish this up, and the title is 100 Plus Years of Our Profession. Ready? Here we go. Because of these rapid technological advances over the past 100 years, the future of court reporting has remained a pertinent concern for those in the profession. There has always been speculation of what new invention could completely take over the duties of a court reporter. Budget cuts, lack of funding, and the economy have all played a part in the reduction of reporters, and some government entities have implemented the use of electronic recording device systems. However, headways in technology have also assisted the profession. The widest area of changing direction is in the captioning field. Several captioning services are finding that there are more captioning hours to fill than trained stenographic captioners. Despite the shifting trends that have affected the reporting profession, there is one fact that cannot be disputed, and that is the accuracy of having a live reporter at a proceeding. In the words of Vicki Morgan, RDR, CRI, CPE, retired, a court reporting instructor at Cerritos College in California, cost and technology can't completely wipe out a reporter's work duties as long as an accurate record is treasured and regarded as essential. And because the profession of reporting has evolved and grown with the modern innovation, it is almost certain that reporters will be used and will remain essential for an accurate record for hopefully another 100 years or more. And next I have here the text from the most recent speed contest, and this is testimony, text of the testimony, and it's was originally read at 280 words per minute. So that's the speed contest is 280 words a minute. We will not read it that fast, but this will give you an idea of what the material is like. Ready? Here we go. Class of 2009, I would like you to stand up and wave and cheer your supportive family and friends. I am sure you can find them out there. Show your love. It is a great honor for me to be here today. Now wait a second. I know that is such a cliche. You are thinking every graduation speaker says that it's a great honor. In my case, it really is so deeply true. I know being here is more special and more personal for me than any of you know. I would like to tell you why. A long time ago, in this cold September of 1962, there was a co-op at this very university. That co-op had a kitchen with a ceiling that had been cleaned by student volunteers, probably every decade or so. Then came along a college girl named Gloria, who climbed up high on a ladder and struggled to clean that filthy ceiling. Standing on the floor was a young man named Carl, who was admiring the view, and that is how my parents met. I suppose you could say I am a direct result of that kitchen chemistry experiment right here at Michigan. My mom is here with us today. We should probably go find the spot and put a plaque on the ceiling commemorating that day. Everyone in my family attended Michigan. My dad actually got the quantity discount because all 3.5 of his degrees were from here. His PhD was in communication science because it was thought computers were just a passing fad when he earned it 44 years ago. He and Mom made a big sacrifice for that. They argued at times over pennies, watching the budget, and raising my newborn brother. Mom also typed my dad's dissertation on a typewriter, kind of ironic for a computer science dissertation. This velvet hood I am wearing was my dad's, and this diploma was his. My grandfather worked in the Chevy plant in Flint, Michigan. He was an assembly line worker. He drove his 2 children here and told them that this is where you are going to go to college. I know it sounds funny now. Both his children did graduate from Michigan. That was the American dream. His daughter is also with us today. My grandfather used to carry a heavy iron pipe with a hunk of lead melted on the end. The workers made them during the sit-down strikes to protect themselves. When I was growing up, we used that hammer whenever we needed to pound a stake or something into the yard. It is wonderful that most people don't need to carry a heavy blunt object for protection anymore. My dad became a professor at Michigan State, and I became an incredibly lucky boy. A professor's life is pretty flexible. He was able to spend lots of time raising me. There could not be a better upbringing than a university brat. What I am trying to tell you is that this is way more than just a homecoming for me. It is not easy for me to express how proud I am to be here with my family and with all of you at this amazing institution that is responsible for my very existence. So that gives you an idea of what it's like, and we will finish this up another time. And again, that was part of the text from the recent speed contest, read at 280 words per minute. All right, back to some jury charge practice. And the subject of this jury charge that we're working on is perjury. Ready? Here we go. It must be remembered that we are not dealing here with a motion for a new trial initiated by the defense under Rule 33 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, presenting untruthful statements by a government witness subsequent to the trial as newly discovered evidence affecting his credibility at the trial. Such an allegation by the defense ordinarily will not support a motion for a new trial because new evidence which is merely cumulative or impeaching is not, according to the often repeated statement of the courts, an adequate basis for the grant of a new trial. Here we have an entirely different situation. The witness, Maloney, was a paid informer of the government. He testified in this case in that capacity as a government witness. It is the government which now questions the credibility of its own witness because in other proceedings in the same field of activity he gave certain testimony, some parts of which were positively established as untrue, and other parts of which were believed by the Solicitor General to be untrue. The Solicitor General conceded that without Maloney's testimony in this case, the conviction of 2 of the petitioners cannot stand, but he argued that as to the other 3, Maloney's evidence may not have had a substantial effect. However, the trial judge believed Maloney's testimony was material against them, for over objection he admitted it against all the defendants. The district judge is not the proper agency to determine that there was sufficient evidence at the trial, other than that given by Maloney, to sustain a conviction of any of the petitioners. Only the jury can determine what it would do on a different body of evidence, and the jury can no longer act in this case. For this reason, we, as well as that stated in the preceding paragraph, if on a remand the district court should rule that the verdict against some of the petitioners could stand, we would be obliged on a subsequent appeal to reverse and at that late date direct that a new trial be granted. The interests of justice could not be served by a remand that must prove futile. It might be different if we could see in this case any factual issue upon which the district court on a remand could make an unassailable finding that Maloney's other falsehoods were differentiated from his testimony herein, but it is not within the realm of reason to expect the district judge to determine that the witness Maloney testified truthfully in one case as an undercover informer, yet concurrently appeared in the same role in another tribunal and testified falsely, possibly because of a psychiatric condition. That would be an unreasonable determination to make, even though the judge might believe that Maloney's bizarre testimony concerning plans for the assassination of government officials, the destruction of bridges, and the poisoning of water in reservoirs was the product of a mental or emotional condition that had developed subsequently. Maloney, by his testimony, has poisoned the water in this reservoir, and the reservoir cannot be cleansed without first draining it of all impurity. This is a federal criminal case, and this court has supervisory jurisdiction over the proceedings of the federal courts. If it has any duty to perform in this regard, it is to see that the waters of justice are not polluted. Pollution having taken place here, the condition should be remedied at the earliest opportunity. The government of a strong and free nation does not need convictions based upon such testimony. It cannot afford to abide with them. The interests of justice call for a reversal of the judgments below with direction to grant the petitioners a new trial. All right, let's try this short land description. Ready? Here we go. Beginning at the south end of Box Culvert in the northwest corner of the northeast 1/4, section 22, running thence southerly and southwesterly through the northeast 1/4, northwest 1/4, and the northwest 1/4, southwest 1/4, section 22, thence westerly and southwesterly through the southeast 1/4 and northwesterly through the southwest 1/4 and northwest 1/4, section 21, thence northwesterly through the northeast 1/4, northwest 1/4, section 20, and the south 1/2 of the southwest 1/4, section 17, terminating at a point 21 feet north and 70 feet west of the northwest corner of the southwest 1/4, southwest 1/4, said section 17. Let's try a little bit more from our speed contest. 280 word per minute testimony. Not at 280 words. Ready? Here we go. I am thrilled for all of you, and I am thrilled for your families and friends. What I am also trying to tell you is that I know exactly what it feels like to be sitting in your seat listening to some old graduate give a long-winded commencement speech. Don't worry, I will be brief. I have a story about following dreams. It is a story about finding a path to make those dreams real. Do you know what it is like to wake up in the middle of the night with a vivid dream? If you don't have a pencil and pad by the bed, it will be completely gone by the next morning. Well, I had one of those dreams when I was 23. When I suddenly woke up, I was thinking about downloading the whole web and just keeping the links. I grabbed a pen and started writing. Sometimes it is important to wake up and stop dreaming. I spent the middle of that night scribbling out the details and convincing myself it would work. Soon after, I told my advisor that it would take a couple of weeks to download the web. He nodded knowingly. He was fully aware it would take much longer, but was wise enough to not tell me. The optimism of youth is often underrated. Amazingly, I had no thought of building a search engine. The idea was not even on the radar. Much later, we happened upon a better way of ranking. We made a really great search engine, and Google was born. When a really great dream shows up, grab it. When I was here at Michigan, I actually was taught how to make dreams real. I know it sounds funny, but that is what I learned in a summer camp converted into a training program. All right, we'll hear more about that. And that will conclude our literary and jury charge practice.